Hello everybody, welcome to the Comic Game Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and I'm sorry it took me so long to get a video out. You know how sometimes it be for me. But yes, I saw the Let There Be Carnage trailer. Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. Now, I was not the biggest fan of the first Venom. If you've been watching my channel long enough, you saw my review of it, you've seen videos I posted up about it, I was not the biggest fan of the first Venom. Personally, I think the first Venom hurts the comic book movie genre because one of the things that I saw some people who liked it, they were saying, like, one of the compliments they gave it was, oh, it reminds me of older comic book movies. It reminds me of a comic book movie that came out in the early 2000s. And I was thinking, that's not a good thing. Like, Venom is entertaining because it's so bad that it's entertaining. And I don't know if people quite know that that's what the movie is, because it is pretty bad. It doesn't make any sense. The script is terrible. The dialogue is terrible. They completely take away any of the spectacularness that comes with Venom. Venom in the comic books, when Venom is first introduced, yes, does Venom become a little bit wacky later on when he starts doing the lethal protector stuff? Yeah, he becomes a bit wacky later on. But in the beginning, Venom was a terror. Venom was like horror movie shit. Like, it was like, Venom was Spider-Man's most dangerous villain. Like, Venom shows up and shit gets real. Like, that's how it was in the comics. And Eddie Brock did go through a lot of shit. He did have a very bad day and become Venom. But it was like some Shakespearean shit with Peter Parker and Eddie Brock and the Venom symbiote and how that all happened. Like, in the comics, it's such a beautifully told story. It's such a great told story that's been told fantastically on different platforms. It was been told well in Spectacular Spider-Man. It was told well on 90s Spider-Man. The Venom story is something that deserves to be told well on the big screen. And it was told terribly in the Spider-Man 3 movie. But this Venom doesn't make a lick of sense because he still kind of looks like Spider-Man. He still has the eyes that he gets from Spider-Man, but there is no Spider-Man. Eddie Brock is just like, I don't know, man. The thing is, there's a journey to him becoming the lethal protector, coming anti-hero. Like, he's like Loki in a way. He's like a darker, scarier Loki. He starts off as this bad guy and grows into an anti-hero and becomes an anti-hero. But to just do it from the jump, like that, it was just, and just the humor and the stupidity and just the insane Jim Carrey mask-esque thing they were doing in that movie, I just couldn't stand it. I just couldn't stand it. It was so I wasn't a big fan of Venom. I think that movie is what, when, God damn it, who was it? Martin Scorsese was talking shit about comic book movies and saying how they were soulless and there was just these, CGI, popcorn stuff that just, no thought put into. When he was saying all of that, he was talking about Venom. All the things that people think the comic book movie genre is, that the comic book movie genre has tried so hard to overcome, is Venom. All of it is Venom. All of it could be just isolated in one movie. If you know those people, you've probably met those people. Me and you have probably met those people who think the comic book movie genre is stupid, who talk down to the genre, who really put the genre all in one, who generalize the entire genre into one camp. This is the movie they're talking about. Venom is what they see. When they see every comic book movie, they're seeing Venom. Those people who don't like comic book movies. And that's why I really had a dislike towards Venom. Now, I cooled off a bit because I am a Marvel guy, and at the end of the day, Marvel's the MCU's in bed with Sony, and you know what? It's all Marvel, so success for Marvel is success for Marvel. Even though I love how that happens, when something shitty happens that has nothing to do with the MCU, oh, that was part of the MCU. When something great happens that's not a part of the MCU, well, that really wasn't a part of the MCU. But I digress. Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. Now, they set this movie up with the post-credit scene at the end of Venom 1, which I gotta say was one of the worst fucking post-credit scenes I ever... Oh my god! Seth and me... Oh, I gotta... it was so hilarious watching Venom 1, and it got to that post-credit scene, and seeing Woody Harrelson The great Woody Harrelson. Woody Harrelson is a phenomenal actor. There's not many people who can play drama, who can play crazy and comedy. He can do the gambit. He can do comedy. He can do drama. He can do, he can flip it serious. He can be crazy. Woody Harrelson's a phenomenal actor, but he can play comedy just as well. My God. The dialogue, he was just spewing out like the worst. There's gonna be carnage. I was like, what the fuck was that? Wearing that Party City wig. I'm not the type of dude to notice wigs. Because I'm not a hair guy. Clearly, when I get my shit done, I just get it cut down and shaped up, I'm not a hair guy. But my word, that was one of the worst wigs I'd ever seen in my life. It looked like the wig was alive and about to jump off his head. Oh my gosh, that shit was... Me and Seth just died laughing at him. And everybody else, and like this group of people in front of us were like, what are you laughing at? Like they dead face looking at us like this is a serious moment. I was like, yes, watching Woody Harrelson in a Party City wig go, there'll be carnage. But then again, that's enough for some people. Just to hear the word. That's old shit. That's old shit. And we get to the trailer here. And it's the same old shit. It's just, Venom and Eddie Brock comedy hour with Venom trying to make him food and it's coming out looking disgusting and it seems like they're staying by themselves and they're still in the same apartment and it seems like they said that months have passed, like time has passed, but like, and it's very confusing. Like I said, I'm like, okay, so they're still doing this absurdist comedy stuff up top, and you get a little words from Woody Harrelson's Cletus Cassidy, and he's talking. And they really don't show like how they got the symbiotes in them somehow. Now in the comics, that is how it happens. It's like it's some blood thing. In the comics, he's just in a jail cell with Eddie Brock after he does some shady shit and the symbiote, like for some reason, lays an egg or some shit, and it attaches itself to Cletus Cassidy. But in this, it's like, I don't know what they're doing here. I'm not sure, like, how he got the symbiote in him or whatnot. There's just, shots of things happening. There's not really any indication of really much. There's not a lot of indication you can get from a story or anything. Just people screaming, and looks like Cletus is about to get the lethal injection, and when he gets it, then the symbiote starts to come out of him. And and then you get this cool shot of just Carnage in all his full glory. Carnage in his full glory, so that was cool too. But other than that, like I said, I got no real takeaways here. Like I say, I was not the biggest fan of the first Venom. And if you were a fan of the first Venom, you're gonna be a fan of this trailer. If you weren't a fan of the first Venom, you're not gonna be a fan of this trailer. I wasn't a fan of the first Venom, so I don't really give two shits about most of the stuff in this trailer. The only shot that kinda got me was the shot of Carnage, because I am a Marvel fan. I do dig Carnage. I read Alt Maximum Carnage. That fucking thing is fucked up. So I know, So, it's like, so it's just like, I know, so it's cool seeing Carnage, but like at the same time, I'm just like, I don't know, man. How do you get the name Carnage? Is the symbiote name Carnage? Like, there's just shit in Venom. Like, even the names. Like, in the comics, it was like, they came up with that name together. Eddie and him were like working as a team, revenge on Spider-Man, we are Venom. But in this, it's like, I'm Venom. So you're from an alien race that just has the name. Like, that's my problem with Venom. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. Nothing makes sense. He's an alien race called Venom. The final battle was just two like snot bubbles just clashing into each other to the point where you couldn't even recognize. Did you know what was happening? Like, I'm the first to tell you, the CGI battle at the end of Black Panther was not the best. I didn't hate it like everyone else did, but it wasn't the best. But my word, at least you could tell who was who. It was nuts. I was just like, what is happening? It's the very reason why Venom works with Spider-Man and against other Spider-Man characters, because you can distinctly tell them apart. That's why it's a slow build to Carnage before you get to Carnage. And when Carnage shows up, he's such a bad motherfucker that it takes Spider-Man and Venom to take him down. But not in this, because apparently, according to, Andy I always forget, Andy Serkis, who's directing this, aka Gollum, or aka Claw from Black Panther. According to him, like, this is a world with no Spider-Man. So it's like, I don't know, like, it just, nothing makes sense. Why do all their eyes, like, the only reason their eyes even look like that is because they were attached to Spider-Man. Everything comes back to Spider-Man. The greatest story about Eddie Brock, the greatest story was, like, the fall of Eddie Brock. But we're never gonna get that because we got this goofy-ass shit. Like, that's the thing about this, the Venom, like, thing they're doing here. And I've accepted it because it just is what it is. We can't get what I think we deserve, which is a straight up Venom adaptation with Spider-Man. It should have been Spider-Man, go eventually, after he gets past all his bullshit that he's doing right now, after he gets past, after he clears his name and everything, starts working for an internet company, thedailybugle.net. Eddie Brock happens to be working there too. He's like Jonah Jameson's #1 dude. They have a slight, like, because you can do it different ways, because Spectacular Spider-Man did it where Venom was like his mentor, like Eddie Brock was like an older person, and Eddie Brock was like a mentor to Peter, and it came from that direction. They had a more closer bond. Or you could do the rivalry thing, where they're rivals, and but I'd probably do the older mentor thing, and then he blames Peter, his life's falling apart around him. Like, there's so many ways you could take it to actually make this so good, because the Venom character in context to Spider-Man is so good, especially the story they tell around each other, the tragedy to it, but the eventual redemption that he has, and decides to use this symbiote for good after going through a course of fighting Spider-Man. But we're never gonna get that. All we're gonna get is this goofy ass shit. And the thing is, people are gonna, like, just like I was talking about Mortal Kombat, people are willing to eat this shit up because it is something they wanted to see. People were willing to go watch Venom. A lot of the comic book people who do like this movie, which honestly, it's kind of ironic. Venom is the opposite of a lot of other things. A lot of comic book people don't like Venom. It's mostly casual audiences who don't have any attachment to the source material or whatnot. They're just like, oh, this is so crazy. But the thing about it is, only reason Venom was successful was because, one, Sony was playing coy with everyone. They tricked a lot of people into thinking it was connected to the MCU, and they tricked a lot of people into thinking it was going to be rated R. That's literally the majority of because if you notice in the beginning stages where Venom was being promoted, one, they never would tell you if it was in the MCU or not. Amy Pascal would just keep on, like, people would ask her and she would not answer that question. And B, they did not put the rating of that movie. I'm telling you, they stealth put out that PG-13 rating. There was, like, you didn't know that shit was PG-13 till like a week or two before that shit was about to come out. So a lot of people just assumed it's Venom, it's gonna be R-rated, let's go support it. And like I said, some people, and clearly a lot of people enjoyed it because they wanted to go back again. But that's what got people's asses in the door to see the Venom movie. Do you think people would have saw that Venom movie if they had promoted it PG-13 and made it clear off the bat that it wasn't in the MCU? No. The reason people wanted to go see it is because they thought it was PG-13. It's because they thought it was rated R and they thought it was in the MCU, and it wasn't. But to the movie's credit, it got the casuals to stick around. It got the casuals, and I talk about that all the time, about the casual audiences. I'm not like, you know what? I'm not as hardcore as I was with Mortal Kombat about this. I don't like Venom, but I don't have a problem with other people who like the movie, as long as you can admit that ain't good. Like, it's a movie that is entertaining to you, but it ain't actually a good movie. Like that's not a good movie. Like it's terribly written, it's terribly directed. It's like the only redeeming thing is Tom Hardy just doing his best Jim Carrey impression for The Mask. So it's not a good movie. But I digress. The Venom trailer was, it was what it was. It's gonna have its audience. I'm not gonna be like super negative or hardcore, about the trailer itself. It is what it is. I'll probably see it so I can review it. I probably won't, I probably will feel very similar. Maybe not very similar, that I still feel like, you know, this is a movie out of time. This is a movie that would have been made like 20 years ago, back when they were doing Daredevil and Elektra and Ghost Rider. Like this that's where Venom is. Venom is with those movies. You know, it's not the worst movie I've ever seen, but it's with those movies. It's with Daredevil, it's with Elektra, it's with Ghost Rider. It's in the same department with those movies, where it's very little respect paid towards the actual source material, only on a surface level. It's like surface level source material. It's like surface level stuff, no real, you know, connection to it, not using it very well, just surface level stuff. It's like in the same department with that original Punisher movie, where the studio didn't think the skull was necessary. Like, that's where Venom is. It's in that department. But anyways, I digress. Thank you guys for joining the Comic Game Movie Show. Please remember to like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.